Sure. Do we want to take a half-hour break?
I would not say no to that.
Do any objection, Ms. Schutzhauer, a 30-minute break and
No.
come
No,
back
not at all.
come back at 1:50?
It's
All right.
fine.
All right, we'll take a break till 1:50. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sounds
Should we
good.
log out of the meeting and log back in or just?
No,
put it
you
up?
can stay logged in. I'll keep it open and I'll keep recording.
Okay, thank you.
You would cross it in the same way. Oh my goodness. I would be ashamed to just, you would just die. Responding to growing up against that, like something with my mom, it's harder for me. Oh,
Yeah, we have.
they're gonna, we open the house. For that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long is this break again?
If you can hear me, Otto, half an hour.
Okay, so that would be
150 is what Mike said.
okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. If you find something, go send it. Oh, no, that's no big deal. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've got mine too, but if he sends it to you, you can always send it to me. Yeah, I'll figure that out. Yeah. I'm gonna listen to that audio. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to.
I didn't know if you wanted to run down in the room and talk
And take myself off of mute. You're still, I unmuted myself, Mr. Kreitz, but you're still muted.
How about that?
I can't hear you, Mike.
Can't
You're
hear me?
muted. Whoops. Now I can't hear you because I don't have my earbuds in.
I can hear you, Mike.
Let's try it now. There you go.
Now I can't hear you, Mike.
Yeah,
Nope.
now I can't hear you now either, Mr. Kreitz, even though I've got my earbuds in.
How about that?
There you go. Now you're back.
Judas Priest, I tell you what. Okay. How we doing? Got Natasha.
I had my healthy potato chip lunch.
Sounds delicious.
That's one
Coming
word
from a-
for it.
Well, coming from someone who is doing keto.
Oh, okay.
Oh, how is that
potatoes sound
going?
Amazing. How's it going?
Yeah.
I'm down
I've toyed with
17
that idea
pounds.
too. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys rat me out to my wife, she'd have a hairy fit if she knew what I had just had. So,
We will not. Your secret is safe unless you
you.
watch this replay.
huh? Oh, yeah, I know. I know. She won't look, but yeah.
It's already cooked the way I want, but it really good as a hamburger or something. And it tastes good too. The texture is right. The color is too pale, but it's great. And I'm just, you know, how it's worked out. I knew you were still, are you vegan or vegetarian? Vegetarian. Okay, so, but this is a nice way to have.
Dennis.
Yeah, you wrote up. But if you're not sure.
Let's see.
but I-
Okay, I have 150. Natasha, and I've got Catherine, and I've got Dennis.
My phone.
There's Otto. Looking for Charlita and Scott.
Scott is here.
All right, Scott and Charlita. All right, we'll wait a moment.
Yeah. There she is.
Charlita? Okay.
Hello, Mr. Tavares.
Okay, I guess we have everybody, so we're back on the record. The time is 1:51 p.m. It's case number 2020G-008, Duralia versus Protect Geauga Parks. And the complainant has just finished and concluded its case, and we're ready to proceed to the respondent's case with Ms. Schweitzrow.
Thank you. I'd like to call well, before I start, just so the commission understands, I am actually in the same building with Ms. Partington and Hanratty. They are in the garage because we're still social distancing, and I understood that the commission wanted to be able to see each of us directly. So I'm in another room, but if I need to, if it doesn't work, let me know. We can all get together. I would like to call my first witness, Kathy Hanratty.
Right.
Kathy, you are.
Just a moment. Would you please swear the witness, Mr. Richter?
She's
One
muted.
second. once I unmute myself and once she gets unmuted, I will gladly do so.
Thank you.
There you go. Ms. Hanratty, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Would you raise your right hand and please, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is been a long day, I guess. As you shall do so under God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Sorry for my tripping over my tongue.
Please proceed,
Ms.
Ms. Schoitzel.
Scheitzel.
I still don't have a picture. I presume somebody does.
I don't.
I am looking at her, Mr. Norman, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I cannot see you, Kathy, so I can't, see if you're looking quizzically or anything. So certainly, for some reason, you're not coming up on my screen. So certainly ask me for clarification. I just can't see you.
See if I can see the camera from here.
Where's
your camera?
Hold on, see you right here, but I can't.
This is the
There's
camera
just
up here?
no-
Did you take her off a spotlight?
Yeah, you're right here, but I'm just not getting a picture. We'll proceed without it. I don't want to hold
Oh,
things.
did I just run it?
No, I think, well, no,
Even
you,
though she's spotlighted, I don't see her.
She's spotlighted, I can see her, so
Yeah.
I'm
we can,
Yes. yeah.
No,
not
I-
sure why, Mr. Norman. I wish I had a better answer than that.
yeah. I think
But I
with the technology, some people can see certain things. So I can certainly proceed without being able to see her.
Please go ahead and do so.
Okay, and just for the commission members, I am basically going to follow along with the exhibits as I sent them out. I was not going to try to put them up because technologically I wasn't sure I could do that. So, Ms. Hanratty, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
My name is Catherine Hanratty, Hanratty.
Okay. What is your home address?
9059 Auburn Road, Chardon, Ohio, 40024.
And that's in Geauga County?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what is your relationship with Protect Geauga Parks?
I am one of the founding members and current president.
Okay. So you were around from the beginning. Have you always held the positions as president?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I want to have you look at what's been marked as Exhibit 1, Respondents Exhibit 1. Can you identify what that is?
Yes, I can. Yes, that is, let's see, that's the bylaws of the Geauga Park District that were in existence prior to 2013. This one looks like from 2007.
Okay. Can you, about halfway down on the mission, well, actually, you don't need to repeat that it's established in accordance with 1545, but can you read the mission that was in existence?
Okay, the statement of purpose that they have here says that Geauga Park District was established in accordance with Section 1545, Ohio Revised Code. Geauga Park District was created to conserve and conserve the natural resources of the state, including forests, fields, streams, lakes, and wetlands, and the plants and animals which live in these habitats. The mission of the Geauga Park District is to preserve, conserve, and protect the natural features of Geauga County and to provide the opportunity for people to enjoy and appreciate those resources. A small percentage of the land managed by Geauga Park District may be developed for direct human use. The development of visitor facilities shall not conflict with the primary objectives of preservation, conservation, and protection.
Okay. Now turning to Exhibit 2, can you identify what that is?
Right. Exhibit 2 is. Okay. Yes, Exhibit 2. That's the bylaws of the Geauga Park District as they were amended October 8th, 2013.
Okay, and can you tell me the difference between the statement of purpose when they were amended from originally?
The October 8th, 2013 statement has been changed. It added, and to provide outdoor recreational experiences to our residents and visitors that exceed their expectations. Then it added recreational use to the ways that the parks may be developed.
Okay. Were you aware that that change was made at approximately that time in October of 2013?
I became aware of that change when the minutes of the meetings were released. They released to they used to put them all on the website. It's the Geauga Park District put them on the Geauga Park District website. So I believe that I may have been aware of the meeting prior to that, but I was aware of it when I saw these minutes on the website.
Okay, and what did you do when you became aware of that?
I contacted a group of other interested people who've been going to the Geauga Park District meetings. Various changes to the purpose of the park had been discussed at meetings earlier that spring. So we had a number of interested people, and we began to have meetings to organize our input. And a few of us wrote letters to Mr. Oros, who was the acting director, and to the local newspapers about the changes.
And did you speak at Parks Board's meetings at that time about your opposition to the change?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask you to look at Exhibit 3.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to ask you the same question. What were the changes? There's both a change in the mission statement and there's also an addendum at the end of the bylaws. Can you explain what that's about?
Yeah, this was the bylaws of the meeting. The statement of purpose was changed to once again kind of drastically altered this time. The original one change added recreation, but this was significantly altered. Now it reads, and to provide outdoor recreational experience to our residents of every age, every ability, and at all times of the year. Portions of park areas may be physically developed for recreational use as needed to meet the recreational needs of Geauga County residents, and portions may be preserved in their natural state for future generations. This was a major shift away from the original mission of conservation to a policy to make recreation the primary purpose of the parks, with portions, by the addition of portions and may to the preservation.
And this is also when they added a list, a long list at the end of things that they could do?
Yes, they added a whole new section entitled Activities. I think it was Article 21. And it was a list of activities that included logging, firewood operations, firearms range, oil and gas drilling, excavation and earthworks, snowmobiling, sporting clays, trap shooting, hunting and trapping, along with, there were probably 20 or 30 activities listed.
Actually, I'm looking at it probably more like about 40, yeah. Why was this disturbing to you?
The wholesale change in the purpose of our parks was disturbing to me because the Geauga parks are really special places. A true gem in Ohio. The history of our county is tied to the preservation of our parks. And in the 1950s, groups including the League of Women Voters saw that rampant development was threatening the unique natural features of Geauga County. And they led the charge to preserve, conserve, and protect the land for the future. County parks in Ohio were expressly created to preserve, conserve, and protect our natural resources. For more than 50 years, people with vision worked to protect some of our most pristine and diverse features in Geauga County, and they preserved those within our parks. And because of this, we have more high-quality, intact wetlands in Geauga County than any other area in the state. Geauga County, I don't know.
Why are wetlands important?
Okay, yeah, well, Geauga County contains the headwaters of three major rivers that flow into Lake Erie. If we don't protect the headwaters, we don't protect the Great Lake. It's imperative to protect our Great Lakes and our waters. Our parks are home to many unusual and threatened plants and animals. Because we protect important and rare habitats, Geauga County is home to some species that are extinct in the rest of the state. We have 680 species of moths and butterflies alone in our county. 15 of these are species only found in Geauga County, and this is because we have conserved and protected our land. And such high quality natural areas are really fragile and require a long-term commitment, careful planning and preservation. There are a lot of places in Geauga County, around Geauga County, for recreational activities of all kinds, but far fewer places where people can enjoy the peace and beauty of nature.
Okay, thanks. So you indicated that you started to get together with other like-minded people, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have you look at plaintiffs as respondents exhibit 4. And there's actually 2 sets of minutes here. Can you identify these?
Let's see. Yeah, the first one is a copy of the minutes of the group Protect Geauga Parks from October 9th, 2014.
Okay. And certainly the commission members can read this. Is there anything in that at all about Judge Grindell?
No.
No. And you might want to, that's a first organizational document. The second one, so it's labeled Steering Committee Minutes 11/11/14. Towards the bottom of that, let me see, or one of these, excuse me, you actually just, oh, I'm sorry, back to the 10/9/2014. Towards the bottom of the first page, it says in capitals, voted unanimously to go ahead with checking account in the name of Protect Geauga Parks.
Yes.
And then further, it says that Ed Buckles will work with Barb and Dave Partington on possible 501c3 or 4 status, correct?
Yes.
So it was this meeting 10/9/14, when you decided to organize as a corporation in the state of Ohio.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and then the next set of minutes, again, I ask you to look at those. Is there anything at all discussing Judge Grindell?
Let's see, 11/14. No. Let's see, there were some letters. Let's see. Only under new business, the Grindell's name comes up, but only in relation to a note that he wrote to Mrs. Shumway, who was on the board of directors of the Park District.
Okay. So is it safe to say you did not organize in any way initially to oppose Judge Grindell for his election?
No, we organized specifically to protect the mission of conservation within our parks.
Okay. You then organized as a 501c4 and not as a 501c3. Can you tell me why you made that decision?
We made that decision after some deliberation because we decided that through our interpretation that advocacy and lobbying was something that we would probably have to do. And advocacy is allowed in a 501c4 organization. And we filed this way because we really wanted to do what was right.
When you say advocacy, because there's a specific definition of advocacy in the election laws, that's not what you're referring to, is it?
Objection. Leading.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I don't know what advocacy.
Just a second, ma'am. Go ahead and rephrase the question.
Okay, I'll rephrase the question. When you say you're going, you said you were organizing to advocate what?
For conservation, we wanted to let people know that conservation was important in our parks, and we wanted to talk to elected officials about keeping our parks as a conservation-oriented park district. And those were the kind of things that we were advocating for.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I have of this witness.
All right, thank you. Mr. Crooks, do you have any cross-examination of Ms. Hanratty?
I do.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Afternoon, Ms. Hanratty. You previously answered that there was nothing in anything of the minutes that have anything to do with Judge Grandel. Is that correct?
In the minutes that we spoke about, yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go to the share screen again here, so I can quickly direct you to what I'm looking at. Okay. Can you see the PDF on the screen? Can you see that?
I think I can see just the very bottom part of it. Let me see, do you remember which ones those are?
It is page 2 of 2 of the first set of minutes meetings, and that would be your exhibit number 4.
Okay.
So it's the second set of minute meetings. Or sorry, the first set of minute meetings, the second page.
So the minutes of 10/9/14.
That would be correct, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's the one. And then what area are you asking me to see?
I'm asking you, or so you see the second page of that, of the 10/19 minutes,
I do
correct?
see that. Yeah.
Okay. Under the subheading, some ideas for quote, what you can do page, and that'll be referring to a page on your website, correct?
Yes. That was actually, this was what can you do? I'm sorry, I'm not completely familiar with this older document. Let's see.
Okay, you would agree with me, the first sentence says some ideas for what you can do page include, and then there's a colon with a list of things, correct?
Yeah, it says come to our candlelight vigil.
Okay, I want to direct you specifically to the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I'll call it an ident arrow down that begins with the word right. Do you see that?
Yes, right. Yes, I see that.
Would you please read that?
A right to the Ohio Supreme Court and the Ohio Election Commission about just judicial misconduct and the use of political funds for election, or public funds for election ads.
Okay, so if you're writing to the Ohio Supreme Court about judicial misconduct, you're talking about Judge Grandel, because he was the acting judge at that time, correct?
The acting judge at that time, yes.
Okay. Same thing with the use of public funds for election ads. You're talking about writing the Ohio Election Commission in order to file a complaint against Judge Grandel, correct?
Yes, yeah, that is an activity that we recommended to our people in the community and to our supporters.
Okay, so you have regularly advocated for judicial complaints and election committee complaints against Judge Grandel.
Well, the judge had been going out of his way to thwart us in our mission.
Ma'am, that was a yes or no question. You either have been advocating or not.
We have been advocating. Yes.
And you've been advocating for complaints to be filed for him, correct? Filed with the Ohio Supreme Court, correct?
Yes.
And you were part of the group that organized the campaign seeking to have the Ohio legislature exercise their statutory power to remove Judge Grandel, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and all these activities have taken place pretty much over the entire length of your existence, yes?
These activities have come up when the judge has specifically engaged in activities that have, we believe, would harm the park.
Okay, I'm going to go back to that. October 9th, 2014 is when you testified. That's the minutes of the first meeting, and that was the date of that meeting, correct?
Yes,
So beginning 6 years ago, 7 years ago, or almost 7 years ago, you began advocating for people to file judicial complaints and Ohio Election Commission complaints against Judge Grandel.
yeah, we wanted to educate people about the problems that were going on.
Yeah, yes or no? You're advocating them filing complaints.
Yes, we were.
Okay. This is from what I've pulled up now, and you'll see on your screen, and for the committee's benefit, this is actually the initial complaint that was filed by Mr. Deralia. And there is, I'm going to scroll down to it. I apologize. It's, all right. Do you see this? Would you recognize this as the take action page of the
Just
Protect
a moment,
Parks
Counselor.
website?
Counselor, just a moment. Are you marking this exhibit, or is this a preview exhibit?
This is, I'm going to ask that this be marked as Exhibit 18.
Okay.
This was the initial, these are exhibits to the initial complaint that I'm asking questions on. So the whole initial complaint. So this would be 18.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Would you agree with me that the date on that is Monday, February 24th, 2020?
I do. I see that at the top of the page.
Okay. And you recognize your organization's logo at the top?
Yes.
Okay. You would agree with me that as of February 24th, 2020, Matt Rambo and the judge were engaged in a political campaign against each other for the Republican nomination for the Geauga County Probate and Juvenile Court?
Yes.
Okay. And this page is your take action page, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So the first thing to take action is you have a prominently displayed vehicle with a Matt Rambo placard on it, correct?
Yes, that is taken at one of our parks.
Okay. And then right below that is the endorsement of Matt Rambo, correct?
Right under it, let's see, our number
You've got 4 headlines.
Yeah.
Okay, and the 4 headlines are crossing over the River Jordan, or is it the Chagrin? Protect Your Park, Geauga Parks endorses Matt Rambo.
Yes.
Judge Grendel's latest power play, and a reprint of an editorial calling for Judge Grendel's removal from parks.
I see those, yes.
Okay. Now, under the take action section, do you see where, so we agreed that you started advocating for complaints be filed against Judge Grendel with the Ohio Supreme Court in 2014, correct?
Yes.
And as of 2020, you are still advocating for complaints to be filed against Judge Grendel, correct?
Yes.
And you're advocating that Ohio Election Commission's complaints be filed against him, yes?
Yes, we did.
And you are also, even though there's an election going on, you're also advocating for people to petition the Ohio legislature to remove Judge Grendel from office.
This was a continuation of our request from the past to remove the judge from office. We made no bones about the fact that we would like the judge removed from office.
So you would agree with me then that a goal from the very beginning, because you advocated filing judicial complaints against him, has been to remove Judge Grendel?
No, I think that's taken out of context.
Did you in 2014 advocate for petitions to be filed with the Ohio Supreme Court seeking to have him disciplined or removed for conduct that you believe to be improper?
Yes, and we as citizens have a right to do that.
I'm not questioning that, ma'am. And again, that's a yes or no question. In 2015, you were still advocating for the same thing, correct? Petitions to the court and complaints to the Ohio Board of Elections, yes?
Yes, we were.
Okay, 2016, same thing?
I don't know if we made a specific ask for that at that time, but
well, to be clear, this take action page, this has nothing to do with the election other than the sign at the top. And in the take action, there's nothing here that talks about voting, is there?
There is, well, there was not an election going. I'm sorry, take me back to the date of this one because I'm.
Okay, to be clear, this take action page is from February 24th, 2020. There was an election going on, correct?
Yeah, yes, that's true. There was an election.
Okay. However, the actions, writing letters to the newspaper, that's got nothing to do with the election, correct? That's
That-
not
That's true, yeah.
filing a judicial complaint against the judge of the Ohio Supreme Court. That's got nothing to do with the elections, correct?
Correct.
Filing a complaint with the Ohio Elections Commission, same thing. Nothing to do with his race against Matt Rambo, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and these have been consistent policies, or I guess policies would be the right word. A consistent platform for your organization throughout the years, yes?
It's not. It's hard to phrase that. It's hard to respond to that in a yes or a no. The judge continued to have do actions that we felt should be reported, and they weren't always the same action. It wasn't all from one event. It was from many events, many what we felt were missteps by the judge.
Okay. Now, to be clear, you went so far as to meet with Ohio lawmakers. Were you part of that group?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And you traveled down to Columbus to meet with them?
Yes, we did.
Was that paid for or in any way compensated by Protect Geauga Parks?
No, it was not.
Okay. All right, I need to go to apologies. Okay. Going back to that previous exhibit, there's no question that when you say file a judicial complaint against Judge Grendel, you are not providing this information for anyone who wants to file a judicial complaint. You're providing this specifically to file a complaint against Judge Grendel, correct?
I would have to look at the text of that. I see
What-
this, we have the actual instructions there, and I don't believe our instructions say add Grendel's name to it, but we do have instructions on filing a judicial complaint.
Are you testifying to this commission that when you have a take action item that is titled file a judicial complaint against Judge Grendel with the Ohio Supreme Court, the purpose of that is not to file a judicial complaint against Judge Grendel, it's any judge?
You are right. We were advocating that people file a complaint against Judge Grendel in that instance. But that was not about his candidacy. That was about his performance as a judge in our county and the things that he was doing to our parks.
And I understand that. And to be clear, when the election was not, the year that you met with the legislators, excuse me, legislature, plural, there was no election that year. You were seeking to have them removed in a year other than an election year.
That is true. We were lobbying, as we are allowed to do.
You were engaged in political activity with the legislature, yes?
Not political in conjunction
Were you advocating for a specific political action of the legislature to be taken by vote? Yes or no?
Yes, we were. We were asking for them to, it would take a 2/3 vote in order to rescind a judge sit. And we were asking for that because of the judge's performance within his job.
With all due respect, ma'am, I don't care why you were doing it. I just simple yes or no. You were advocating that you were lobbying the legislature to take a political action against one individual. Yes?
It was not a political action at that point.
Okay, you were asking them to take legislative action. You were advocating for a specific outcome.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please. All right, take a breath. Mr. Crooks, you asked the question. And ma'am, Ms. Hanratty, you answer the question. Please don't interrupt each other.
Apologies, sir.
Would you please pose the question again, Mr. Crooks?
You were lobbying the legislature, requesting that a specific action be taken by them the outcome of which would be, you hoped, the removal of Judge Grendel as an elected official and judge? Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Yes.
Okay. The petitions, where did you seek signatures?
Where did we seek signatures?
Yes, you used your website, yes?
Yes, we used our website. Let's see, we had a booth at the fair, I believe.
Okay.
And let's see. We attended some League of Women Voters forums, and what else did we do? I think we I think that definitely the fair booth. We had petitions available for our members or our supporters to get petitions from their friends and neighbors. And I believe we had petitions available at some of our events.
Okay, so first question. So you're using the website to promote, by the Take Action, you're using the website to promote people take these actions, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how much does the website cost a month?
I don't know that right off the top of my head. My treasurer would know that.
Okay. The booth at the fair, was that free or did you have to pay for that?
We did have to pay for a booth at the fair.
Okay, what, do you know how much you paid for the booth?
I don't recall how much. Well, there, once again, that would, our treasurer would definitely know that amount. And I think, yeah, my treasurer would know that amount.
Okay.
Not right off the top of my head.
Who did the printing for the petitions?
Probably KMI Printing.
Okay. Okay. With regards to the statute which allows for the removal of an elected judge by a 2/3 vote of the legislature, who did the legal research that allowed you to find that law?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. We had a number of attorneys within our group, and yeah, I think probably Ed Buckles was the attorney that looked into that at that time. He was a retired attorney.
Okay. Did they receive any compensation for that work?
No, he did not.
Okay. Okay. During the election, did Protect Geauga Parks have any signs, flyers, buttons, bumper stickers, or any other form of accoutrement, pencils, pens, printed out with anything related to Matt Rambo and Protect Geauga Parks on it?
No, we did not.
Okay. Okay. You said that you were passing these flyers out at events that you hosted. Where were these events hosted at?
Various libraries, sometimes in the parks.
Okay. Yeah. Were refreshments, food, drink, non-alcoholic, of course, but were any of those types of things provided during these events?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And those came from the funds of Protect Geauga Parks to provide those, yes?
Usually our members would volunteer to bring refreshments to most of the events.
Okay. So the events served two purposes. They were to provide, there was an educational component, correct?
Yes.
And there's an advocacy component, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Crooks.
May I ask a couple questions on redirect?
Redirect, go ahead, ma'am.
Ms. Hanratty, much is being made of the fact that Protect Geauga Parks had a petition to the Ohio legislature to remove Grandel from office. Did you ever ask the legislators who lived in Geauga County, were you petitioning them to vote against Grandel when he finally ran for re-election?
No,
No. What were you actually asking them to do?
we were asking them to look into his activities that we believed were contrary to his position as a judge.
So that was there anything in support of his candidacy?
No.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions by the board of this witness? Very good. Thank you very much, Ms.
Mr. Chair, I may.
All right, go ahead, sir.
This is Mr. Richter, Ms. Hanratty. I'm looking at materials that, actually, if you would go to Exhibit 8, that is the Respondent's Exhibit 8, that lists organizational educational outreach activities from 2014 to 2020 from your organization. Is this the sum total of activities that you would say that your group has participated in that period of time?
I believe, yeah, very much so.
Can I make a notation? I have an exhibit in, there is an updated exhibit, which is Exhibit 8 in the respondents pack that brings it up to date.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at right now, right?
To go off today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm there now.
That's what I was referring to, correct?
I believe so.
Oh, I thought you said 18. I'm sorry.
No, 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's the sum total of activities. There is nothing, as I leaf through there, and that's all I have done, admittedly. Certainly there is a variety of activities that the group participates in, but there is nothing listed in there as it relates to any kind of independent activities that your group has had with regard to some of the materials that have been discussed today. The signs produced supporting Mr. Rambo, some of the other website information that's been circulated concerning both Mr. Rambo and Judge Grandel. Why is that? Because that seems to be I don't know if I want to say substantial, but it's certainly a part of the activities that your group has undertaken, correct?
Let me see. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I kind of rambled on for a while there. So what,
Yeah.
you know, if you're confused, I'll do my best to clarify.
May I make a clarification? I don't think there was any allegation that Protect Geauga Parks produced any signs.
That's true.
Any
We have
signs for Mr. Rambo.
produce any signs.
There was, okay, then the one advertisement, there was the sign that was attached to the car. Is that something that the Geauga Parks did not have anything to do with? Or Protect Geauga Parks?
Yeah, we did not.
Okay.
Some of the members had those signs from Mr. Rambo, but we did not produce those signs.
Okay, I apologize. Then there
To be
was
clear,
the
Mr.
one,
Richter.
then there was the one advertisement that your group produced, correct?
I'm sorry, which advertisement are you talking about?
Is it exhibit? I'm leafing through the exhibits now.
Elect Rambo.
Yes. We did put out.
Exhibit 11 is what I'm referring to.
Yes. Couldn't get there.
That's fine.
Okay, I see that one right there.
Yeah, you produced that
We
and
did.
circulated that.
Yes, we did. We put that in the newspaper.
Understood. You also obviously had a lot of activity as it relates to your website that was gone to in previous testimony. in terms of whether your group supported Mr. Rambo or didn't support Mr. Grindell. Is that correct?
Yes, we did have a number of things on the website. That's true.
Okay, correct. And now going back to Exhibit 8, that lists all of the various activities that your group has undertaken through the years. There is no mention of any of those activities. Would you consider those to not be activities in which your group was participating?
The all of these activities, the focus of the activity was on the action that we were, the winter hike was specifically a hike. The conservation conversations that we had and numerous times were that each of those events may have lasted 2 hours. If we had a literature available that, such as this ad or petitions, they were incidental to the meat of the presentation. Does that answer your question?
Well, to a degree, but I just find it interesting that there is nothing listed in, nothing included in this listing as it relates to any of those types of activities. Is there a reason why that occurred?
Oh, because that's most of these, what you're looking at right now, all of these articles, exhibits that are cherry picked to look for Judge Grindell's name. If you look at the totality of our website, this is a very small part of our website. So, looking at this, this rolling exhibits, it looks like we had all kinds of things to do with Grindell, but that is only because somebody went through and cherry picked everything that has Grindell's name in it.
Appreciate that. If you were to put a percentage on how much of the website has included that kind of material as it relates to the judge, what would your estimation be of what that percentage would be?
Oh, probably, it's hard to say without actually going through and looking. But I can't imagine it would be more than 20%. And that would be counting all of the stuff, the ads that already gone through.
Okay. And how, if you are aware, going back then briefly at least to Exhibit 11, the advertisement that was placed in, I think it was placed in a newspaper. Is that correct?
Yeah. Sorry. There we go. There's 11. Yes, this was in the newspaper.
Do you know how broadly that was circulated, what the circulation is of that newspaper?
It was probably in the Chagrin Valley Times or let's see, this one was, I'm not sure. Chagrin Valley Times or the Maple Leaf, those are specific to Geauga County. And I don't really know their circulation numbers.
Okay, that's fair. So when you're going to that, I'm not trying to confuse you, but I may be doing so. Going back to Exhibit 8 then, with all the, as I look through this thing, education and conservation activities, conservation conversation with Jim Bissell, the importance of conversation, December 4th of 2014. If I understand it then, what this is telling me, what this exhibit is telling me is that your group took action and notified people that this conversation was taking place. And were you a supporter of it? Were you a sponsor of it?
Which kind?
I'm just looking at the very first one.
Conservation conversation.
Education and conservation activities, and it says conservation conversation with Jim Bissell.
Right. We actually asked Jim Bissell to come and talk to a group that we put together. We organized that event.
Okay. And then just picking out the next one with Tim Barber, that's also something you guys did, and you publicized that and you participated in it.
Yes, we did.
And I would presume then that all of the other materials in there are events that you publicized and participated in. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so this pretty much covers the broad brush of activities that the Protect Geauga Parks group has participated in since its inception up through, it looks like I see some 2021 dates on there as well.
Yeah.
And you have published, participated, and sponsored some of these materials, or all of these materials, or all of these events, I'm sorry.
Yes, all of these events were sponsored by PGP.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Mr. Richter. Mr. Crooks, do you have any follow-up to the questions asked by Mr. Richter?
I do. The Dancing with Coyotes events. Now, that was community outreach. Was admission charged or any fundraising done at that event?
See where it's at. Most of our events are free and open to the public. So I believe that was also free and open to the public.
Okay. Now, to be clear, most of the events for 2020 were canceled because of COVID.
That's true.
Okay. You're familiar with the small amount of financial information that was included as part of your packet, correct?
Yes. I saw
Okay.
that. I'll put it on the screen.
So I believe it's exhibit 12 of your guys' packet, or y'all's packet, excuse me. Okay. So can you tell me, because it doesn't break it down by year, what the average expenditure is for Protect Geauga Parks on an annual basis?
It's hard to say an average because we have been we've been growing our events, and for instance, our first couple of years we're on a pretty tight shoestring, and then as we have grown as a group, we've gained more supporters, and we've started to do things like the scholarships. We give scholarships to local students, and $1,000 each. So and then we put on an event at the Munson Town Hall that is, it's free and open to the public. Do of course ask people to be generous, while they're there.
Okay, it's free, but you have some kind of signer, etc. Donations welcome. Please give something along those lines.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so even though you sponsor these events, they also still are fundraising events as well.
The only real fundraiser is the Heroes of Conservation event. But we always have a kitty out and ask people to be generous as they can. Okay.
My next question is with COVID being what it was in 2020 and continuing to 21, with the lockdown and limited availability social distancing, is it safe to assume that your budget for expenditures was much smaller in 2020?
Our budget for all expenditures, well, because we had to cancel events, we didn't have as much outlay. Most events have been handled on Zoom. So we have not had a lot of expense this year. And so I'm trying to get to the crux of your question. What was that?
My question was very straightforward. It was very simply, due to COVID, your total expenditures in 2020 was much lower than in other years, correct?
We still gave out scholarships.
I'm sorry.
And teacher grants, yeah.
3 scholarships a year, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
3 scholarships and a teacher grant, so 2 teacher grants.
Okay. Do you know how much you spent on those scholarships and teacher grants in 2020?
About $5,000.
Okay. So you spent $5,000 on scholarship and teachers grants, and you spent $6,000 on political advertisements in favor of Matt Rambo and against Judge Grandel, correct?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay. And Mr. Richter was asking you about Exhibit 8, the laundry list of activities. Those are put out there because, and again, this list is something that you produced in preparation of this litigation, correct?
No, we actually had this list prior to even knowing of this litigation. We've been kind of compiling a list of our activities over the years.
Okay, but these are distinct one-off events, correct?
Yes. Well, we have a series that we call conservation conversations, and we get different people to come in to talk specifically about our conservation conversation. And it's always on different topics depending on the speaker.
Let me try to clarify that. When I say one-off events, they're distinct. They happen on a specific day, and would it be fair to say they last between 2 and 3 hours?
That's
the
true.
vast majority of them. Okay. Would it also be fair to say that your advocacy for the removal of Judge Grandel has been fairly consistent and not any distinct event?
Definitely not, and we have never had an event about the removal of Grandel, other than the time we went to Columbus.
Okay, and you did do an introduction of Matt Rambo at a previously scheduled educational talk.
That was yes, we just introduced him and say hello.
But you introduced him as the candidate to running against Judge Grandel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Crooks. Any final questions, Ms. Schoitzel?
No, thank you.
Okay, fine. Mrs. Hanratty, thank you. Ms. Hanratty, thank you very much. We excuse you with our thanks.
Thank you.
Call your next witness, Ms. Schoitzel.
Okay, I'd like to call Barb Partington.
Mr. Richter, would you please administer the oath?
I believe she's already under oath, sir.
My fault. Good catch. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Ms. Partington, and you've already stated your name for the record. Much has been made about Protect Geauga Park's support for Matt Rambo for probate court, and
I was muted. I hold on, Ms. Schoitzel. Schoitzel or Scheitzel? Scheitzel. Sorry, I've been
Susan.
butchering your name. I apologize.
Susan.
Ms. Partington, I am merely commenting to remind you that you have been sworn to give accurate testimony in these. No, you've been sworn. I'm just reminding you that you've been sworn. You can have a seat and answer Ms. Scheitzel's questions.
Did you unmute me? Did somebody unmute me?
You are unmuted.
Could somebody take off the screen share? Unless you want that up. Okay.
No, go ahead. Just have a seat and be prepared to answer questions.
I'm ready.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Partington. I want to talk a bit about tying in some of the things that why Judge Grandel is important to the mission or opposes the mission of the parks. So can you generally explain some of the activities that you have seen that Judge Grandel has done that have opposed the mission of the parks or opposed Protect Geauga Park specifically?
The most egregious, I would say, goes back to what Kathy Hanratty talked about earlier, was appointing a rotating board of commissioners that have desecrated the bylaws of the park. The bylaws of the Geauga Park District have been changed at least 5 times since 2013. That's incredibly unusual for a public organization with an $8 million budget. What that means is that bylaws are being changed instead of rules and regulations. Bylaws are bigger and really affect the whole character of an organization. So by continually putting on more and more commissioners who have less and less interest from the park, then it just continues the cycle. The other thing that has happened under this rotating group of commissioners, of which one was removed because he would not go ahead with what he was asked to do, is that public comment was removed from the park. So you wonder, why are we advocating through letter writing? Why are we advocating through legislature? Because there is no voice in the park. Public comment was removed in either June or July of 2016 by a bylaws change. So that caught a lot of attention through multi-partisan Geauga County. This is not a Democratic Republican issue. This is multi-partisan. This is the only park district in the state of Ohio that does not have public comment. It was put in place and kept in place by commissioners that Judge Grandel put in place. Does that answer your question?
It sure does. I just real quickly, I just want to, because this is sort of my questioning for some of the things that Mr. Crooks questioned you about. He had shown you Exhibit 2 that said time to remove Judge Grandel from Geauga Park's oversight. So what was that article about? That wasn't, I can't lead you here, but what was removing from Geauga Park's oversight? Do you remember that editorial?
Who wrote the article?
Pardon?
Can you tell me who wrote the article? I don't.
It was Exhibit 2. Here, I have it. It was written by, it was a.
Objection.
What's the basis of your objection, Mr. Crooks?
That she can either refresh her recollection, which is perfectly acceptable, but her counsel answering questions from the witness is incredibly unusual. I'll say it that way.
What it was a, it's exhibit, I think it was your Exhibit 2, Mr. Crooks, if you want to take a look at that.
I'll be glad to post it back up.
I'm going to overrule the objection. Go ahead and proceed, Ms. Suso.
Thank you. It's entitled Time to Remove Judge Grandel from Geauga Park's Oversight. So what was that editorial about?
I believe that was the editorial that talked about changing the law, changing 1545 to remove, I believe I'm right on this, to remove the responsibility of the parks from the probate court.
Okay. Would that have anything to do with an election?
No, that was too soon, too early.
Okay. I want to take you to the Respondent's Exhibit 6. Can you identify that?
Is that one of your articles?
It's in our packet of exhibits.
Article 6?
Exhibit 6.
It's not the petitioner's packet, it's what you have submitted on behalf of your claim.
Correct. It's.
Is it a letter?
Yes, it's the letter from Judge Grandel to Director Oros.
Okay, I have it.
Can you explain what that, have you seen that letter before?
Yes, I have seen the letter.
Okay, and can you explain what it was?
Well, in short, this is a letter that was written on March 4th, 2016 from Judge Timothy Grandel to Director John Oros and the members of the Park Board of Commissioners of the Geauga Park District. It starts by saying much noise has been made by Ms. Hannity's park group, et cetera. I won't go into that. That was a complaint about us. But it then
can I stop this? What we're having the witness do is read. Why don't we ask questions and find out what the witness has to say instead of reading somebody else's opinion or thoughts?
Okay, this is I'm presenting this because it is a letter from Judge Grandel to Director Oros. And so can you summarize, can you summarize?
Right. I understand. I will summarize. It's a letter that Judge Grandel wrote that he asked to be read at a park board meeting, and he put actions in the letter that he asked the park board to take. So this was making a recommendations from the bench, so to speak, on how the park commissioners were to do some things in the parks and related to the park newsletter. That's it.
So what other actions has Judge Grandel taken, if any, regarding trying to direct the Parks Board?
Relevance.
I'm sorry, did somebody say something? Do I answer that? Or?
I objected on relevance. I don't know what that has to do with what we're here for, which is whether or not they're a PAC.
Overruled. Go ahead. You can answer the question if you have.
I'm going to repeat what I said before. His actions have to do with appointing park board commissioners, and in one case, supporting that park commissioner for an elected office. In another case, putting one of those commissioners into his staff as a paid position. And in another position, removing a park board commissioner who was very pro-conservation and anti-active recreation. So those would be my the rest of my examples. He also, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm sorry, I almost forgot, but this is important. Early on in our organizing time, I believe this was in 2015, if not the end of 2014, Judge Grandel ended a park levy. He suspended the park levy that had already been voted on by voters, which obviously, because he said he could save the park district money. So he rescinded a park levy. I'm sorry, I did not mention that earlier.
This is Commissioner Norman. I would say let's limit ourselves to testifying instead of trying to put our agenda before us. Let's listen to the questions and answer the questions, because we really don't need to hear a personal agenda. We're here about specific facts and specific complaints.
Then I'm going to skip over Exhibit 7, which was another amendment to the bylaws. I think there's been plenty of testimony about Protect Geauga Park's involvement in the bylaws. Go to Exhibit 8, which Mr. Richter was responding to, and that is titled Protect Geauga Park's Organizational, Educational, and Outreach Activities. So would you briefly describe what you do for education and conservation activities?
What we do is provide programming by having speakers, and some of this has been said before, so I'll try to go fast on this. The speakers are paid an honorarium, generally. We also share information, as you know, on our website, as well as on our Facebook page and via email. We hold monthly meetings with our own director, our own members. We attend the monthly Park Board of Commissioners meetings and then report out what happens at those meetings. Our speakers range in anything from, now via Zoom, we have national speakers, otherwise it was local people. We do advocacy events, such as asking people to write letters, for example, against the proposed drilling at Ladue Reservoir. We have Heroes of Conservation, which Kathy alluded to, but is a very big gala event where we honor, and have since 2015, 3 Heroes of Conservation from Geauga County. We invite their families, we give awards, we then honor our student scholarships at that time as well. And we attract about 200, we have to cut off at about 200 people there because that's the size of the room. That is our student scholarship is in memory of Bob McCullough, who was the longest serving commissioner of the Park District, and this was done in conjunction with the wishes of his family. We also attend and participate in the Maple Festival Parade and in the Geauga Park District, but not during COVID. And I think that really sort of sums up those kind of activities that we do. Generally, I'm gonna off the cuff say generally we have about 8 of those activities per year. We have a committee that works on that. We also have those activities, have children's activities where they make nature puppets.
And this all goes to the purpose of the organization. Correct? Now, not on this list, this was education and outreach activities, but not on this list are sort of the watchdog activities that Protect Geauga Parks does. Can you describe some of those?
Yes, we have made it clear to our supporters that unless you can educate yourself on the importance of conservation and preservation, there really is no point in doing anything. You have to understand why Geauga County's natural resources are important and what you can do about them. One of the things we've done is ask our supporters to keep their eyes open. An example is that last summer, we identified that some people had been given permission illicitly by the director of the Park District to fish at a preserved area. To make a long story short, after much observation, public records request, and kind of good timing, the Department of Natural Resources made our park director rescind that permit. We also were very involved last month in the proposal to drill to sell, for the city of Akron to sell the mineral rights under Ladue Reservoir for fracking. You will say, why are we interfering with an Akron issue? Ladue Reservoir is in Geauga County, and also it serves as a big water filter for all the wells that are in Troy, Auburn, and Burton Townships. Those are two examples.
You kind of got ahead of me because respondents exhibit 9. Can you take a quick look at that? And without asking the witness to read it, the commission can read it. It certainly gives you what is that? That's what is that?
This is the
Objection,
email.
relevance.
Overruled. Go ahead and answer the question if you
This is
can.
the email I sent to you with the attached letter from the director of the Department of Preserves from Ohio Department of Natural Resources regarding what I indicated, that there were men that had been given an illicit permit to fish on a preserved lake that is not allowed to have any motor vehicle traffic, nor are people allowed on the lake without a trained guided naturalist, etc. This went on all summer. It was resolved by the end of the summer, and it was incredible. You know, it sounds maybe kind of dopey to those of you who aren't familiar, but this is one of the most important preserved glacial lakes in the state of Ohio. So we in essence turned them in and followed through getting the data to make sure we were correct and finding the right government agency, which is Department of Natural Resources, to make sure that they were able to take care of it, which they did.
Okay. And I would like to say to Mr. Cook's objections, the relevance is the activities that are not related to election activities, certainly. And then, so turning to a couple other questions, Mr. Duralia, in his complaint, made the statement that you solicit contributions on the website. Do you solicit those for anything specifically earmarked?
We do not solicit on the website. We have a button that people can push if they want to make a donation. We do not say, please make a donation. We say, if you would like to make a donation. We also yearly do a paper envelope solicitation to our supporters, inviting them, and in fact, in that time, actually soliciting a once-a-year donation.
Have you ever received any earmarked donations?
We have received earmarked donations only from the Foundation for Geauga Parks, which is a separate organization from the Park District, who has supported 2 of our, once each year of our student scholarships. And those were earmarked specifically for the scholarships.
In the original package that I submitted, and in the interest of time, unless the commissioners want me to, I'm not going to direct you to that, but there was significant work on the sunshine violations. Can you describe that work that you do?
We identified early, and this again was one of our kind of watchdog activities. We identified early that the Park District did not follow consistently the Ohio sunshine laws. We took our supporters to our members to a training so that we would be knowledgeable about it. And then we documented time after time sunshine law violations. We then had our attorney write a letter to the attorney of the Park District to bring that to their attention.
Okay.
And it helped.
I'm going to take you now to the actual the activity that you did do in terms of the election. Exhibit 11 has an ad that you published on behalf of Matt Rambo. Can you read the bottom? The very bottom, the disclaimer.
I'm not sure, it's very tiny. For more information, visit www.protectgeaugaparks.us. Protect Geauga Parks is a 501c4 not-for-profit corporation. This advertisement is not authorized by any candidate, political party, or campaign committee. That's it.
Okay. So Judge Grandel won re-election in November of 2019. Do I have that right? 2020? Yes, 2019. Can you explain did you stop your activities?
It was 2020.
2020. 2020. Let's see, yeah, 2020. Did you stop your activities?
No, we did not stop our activities.
Okay. Have you made any significant changes in your activities?
Yes, we've made changes because of COVID. The COVID sprung on us, as everybody else, the night of the election. It took us a little while to get reorganized. Some of our families were very affected by COVID, and Protect Geauga Parks was not the main, topic on their mind for a few months. But we regrouped. We bought the Zoom Pro webinar. We trained one of our members to work it, and we have been running evening Zoom conservation conversations, but we're calling them webinars. We have one next week. Everyone's welcome to attend on a variety of topics. We did not go to the fair. As to be expected, there was not much of a fair last year. And we continued our website. We continued our Facebook page. We did not continue in-person activities yet, but we hope to do that this summer.
Have you ever endorsed any other candidates besides Matt Rambo?
No.
Okay. Have there been other candidates for offices who have been sympathetic to your cause?
Yes.
But you did not endorse them?
No.
Okay. Let's see, one last question. I want to take you to Exhibit 13 and 14. And what is Exhibit? There are two filings labeled independent expenditures from a corporation or labor organization supporting or opposing a ballot issue. Can you tell me what those are? And do you have, I know you did not file these, but do you know why it says from a corporate supporting a ballot issue?
Council, can we designate, are we talking about 13 or 14?
Oh, we're talking about 13 this time.
These are the individual independent expenditure forms that we filed with our political expenditures. We read carefully all the literature we could find about C4s and making up political expenditures. We consulted with our Geauga County Board of Elections, who guided us to consult with the Ohio Secretary of State, and we did consult with that office to identify what form we should use as a C4. We were told that.
Hold on 1 minute. Let me take you to Exhibit 14.
Okay. Can I say one thing? I want to say that these are signed by our treasurer.
Wait a minute. Is your testimony responsive to the question that was just asked, ma'am?
Ms. Scheitzel asked me to describe the report, and I didn't have a chance to tell you what was on the bottom.
Ask a question and have her answer the question, ma'am.
Yeah, let's go to Exhibit 14.
Okay.
And can you explain this exhibit?
This is the email exchange I had with the Secretary of State's office, Campaign Finance Department. I made a request on the website for the Secretary of State asking, saying that our organization, Protect Geauga Parks, is a 501c4 organization. We have made some independent political expenditures that we intend to report. And I asked if we should use Form 31U designated for a PAC. If not, what form? Do we turn it into your office or the local board of elections? And a very nice gentleman from the Secretary of State's office responded, named Brian. And he said the question of where to file depends on what we're filing for. And he said regarding the form, that would be used if you had registered as a PAC. However, if you are a corporation, including nonprofit corporation, they typically report independent expenditures on the 30B2. If you are attempting to influence candidate races, you will still use that form. Just write which candidates you supported or opposed on the line that asks which issue you supported or opposed. And in good faith, we use that form.
Okay. I will ask you just a couple questions. Well, I think we already had the questions regarding the tape. I think everyone heard that. So I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Crooks, cross-examination of the witness.
Thank you very much. Ms. Partington, do you remember when I asked you when you were previously testifying if your organization was specifically advocating for complaints against Judge Grendel specifically, and you said no?
I do remember that, yes.
Okay. You go to share. Okay. This is Exhibit 18. And this is the take action page of Protect Geauga Parks.
Mhm.
And I believe you were, I don't know if you, where you were when Ms. Hamerty was testifying, but you've seen this before, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, specifically, it says file a judicial complaint against Judge Grendel. So that is requesting judicial complaints against Judge Grendel specifically, is it not?
Yeah, yes, that line is that, go ahead. Yes, that line says that. I agree.
Okay. This was up well before the election, correct?
Yes,
The request for judicial complaints was up well before the election,
yes.
as was the sign the petition to remove Judge Grendel from office, yes?
Correct.
Okay. And to be clear, if I were to look at your website today, both of those, the judicial complaint, the Ohio Elections Commission complaint, and the Ohio Legislature petition are still up there as we speak.
Yes, so are many things still up there.
You are continuing to this very day to advocate for the removal of Judge Grendel, correct?
We are continuing to put that out as an option for people who want to take action. We are
You're
never saying
asking them
that.
to sign the petition to remove him, are you not?
It continues to say sign the petition. The petition's been up there for 6 years. Yeah.
I understand that, and you've never walked back from that. You're still continuing to try to do that, yes?
We do not take an active role with that. It sits there on that site. I do not know that anybody still signs that petition. It is a lobbying effort that we have to let people know that they can sign the petition, that they have the free speech to be able to criticize an elected official.
Okay, so you would describe that as lobbying activity then?
Yes, I would.
Okay. But in your mind, lobbying activity is not political activity unless it's an election, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So with regard to the change to the law that you were working with legislatures on, you are lobbying those legislatures to make a change in the law to make it, and that's politically organizing to support an issue, is it not?
Are you talking about the requirement, the lobbying to require public comment petition?
No, I'm talking about the it was made reference by your counsel and the Exhibit 2, which is up here. Time to remove Judge Grendel from Geauga Parks oversight. That was my Exhibit 2, and it's up on your screen now.
Okay.
And this is regarding a change to remove the probate court. Geauga Parks was lobbying to change the rule that left the probate court in charge of the parks, correct?
I do not believe that Protect Geauga Parks was lobbying to change that, although we would have agreed to it, but that article was not about us. That article, I believe, was from Cleveland.com, and it was.
I agree, and it's also posted on your it's also posted on your website, correct?
Correct. Correct. It absolutely is posted, but the article is not about Protect Geauga Parks.
Okay, and you have spoken, you and members of your organization have spoken to legislators seeking that change, have you not?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
I believe you're referencing seeking the change of the oversight of the parks. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. The contributions, there's a button that they can push if they want to contribute, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of the contribution, you identify as a 501c4, which means it's tax deductible, correct?
Not tax deductible, not correct.
Okay. All right. But you don't designate that a portion of the contribution could be used for political activities, do you?
No, we do not.
And in the paper envelope mailing that you do once a year, the solicitation, you do not designate whether or not those funds could be used for political organizing or political lobbying.
Actually, that's interesting because the paper solicitation comes with a long letter that we craft that talks about the activities we have done in the past year. And the letter that went out this year talked about endorsing Matt Rambo. We are very upfront with our supporters, But we do not ask people, tell people that their money is designated one way or another. It all goes to the general fund.
Okay, so there's no separate fund, but this year's fundraising letter made specific reference to the endorsement of Matt Rambo for judge?
The letter that went out this year in 2021 made reference to one of the activities that Protect Geauga Parks did was endorse Matt Rambo for judge.
Okay, so it wasn't put out, it wasn't put out in the January, what month does that solicitation letter go out?
Well, it went out in March of this year. It did not go out at all last year.
Okay. Okay. And with regards to, you mentioned that you communicate with people via email. How many people on your email mailing list?
I do not know. And I know that you don't like that answer. I'm going to guess about 300, but I do not know that. I don't have access to that list.
Okay. With regards to the advertisements, you actually took out 2 separate advertisements. Is that correct?
No.
No. Okay. I'm going to go first to your exhibit, and I believe it's exhibit 8 on your list. I promise I'll get to it. I had it. It was not exhibit 8. My memory has failed me. Exhibit 9. I apologize. I'm not scrolling up and down. It's not helpful.
That's all right.
Sorry, exhibit 11. All right, so that exhibit says that's got the time for integrity exhibit. And there's a notation at the bottom of that that says the Times Courier, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many registered voters are in Geauga County?
I do not know how many registered voters are in Geauga County. I don't want to give the wrong answer. I don't want to guess.
More than fair. Would you agree with me that more than 66,000 people live in Geauga County?
Oh, yes. More than 66,000 people live in Geauga County.
Okay. And to be clear, both the Maple Leaf and the what is it again? The Times Courier, they both have, was this advertisement just in print or was it on the website as well?
It was definitely in print. I do not know if it was on the website. I seriously do not know that.
Okay. And were these posted on your Facebook page as well?
I don't know that. I have no control over our Facebook page and I do not remember.
Okay. So, but this is the only ad that you guys placed, right?
No.
Okay, I just asked you if you post more than one ad and you said no.
You asked me if we put in 2 ads and I said no.
Okay. How many ads did you put in?
We put in 5 ads.
Okay. All right. So another one of them would have been, and I'm back on my 18 for the enough is enough. 8 years of Judge Grindel is way too much. That would be an ad that your organization posted as well?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know which one this ran in? Because there's not an annotation on the bottom of this one.
I believe that all our ads ran one time in the Geauga Maple Leaf and one time in either the Chagrin Valley Times or the Times Courier. That's the same newspaper, but it goes to 2 parts of the county.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so you ran the same 5 ads in 2 different newspapers.
Correct.
Okay, I would like to go back to your exhibit. I believe it's 14 in your book. Okay, so I see the first ad is to the Geauga Times for $400, correct?
You know, I don't know if that's broken down into single ads or more than one ad. The Geauga Times would have been, well, I don't know.
Okay,
You know,
well, the first annotation is $403 to the Geauga Times.
Yes, we would- that shows the bill that we paid, yes.
Okay, the second one is to the Times Solon Geauga Times Courier, looks like.
Correct.
GTC?
Yeah,
Okay, that was for 460. And we've got, sorry, going back up, I was on the second page, I apologize. Who is Karlovic Media Group?
that's the Geauga Maple Leaf.
Okay, is there a reason that one annotation, Geauga Times versus Geauga Maple Leaf, I understand.
Yeah.
So that was a big ad buy for $1,800, right?
In that one, you can see that we paid for multiple ads at the same time.
Understood, that's what I'm saying, it was a big advertising buy. Okay, and then it was $3,000 for the Times Solon Currents GTC.
Correct,
Okay, and then the Geauga Times, another small ad buy for 200.
correct.
So the Geauga Times is different from the Times Solon Courier, and the Karlovic Media Group is separate from those. So you were actually running in 3 different papers, right?
It's 3 different papers with 2 different owners. And quite frankly, the billing, the way they call themselves for the billing is very complicated.
Okay.
We're still working that out with them as well.
Okay. Did any of your members, and I realize the election did not go off, but had any of your members volunteered as poll workers for Matt Rambo?
I don't know what a poll worker for Matt Rambo means.
Okay. Were any of your members acting as poll workers outside or presenting signs, et cetera, at all the different election sites?
No, none, 0.
Okay. No more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anything on redirect?
No, thank you.
Shenza? Very good.
No.
Questions from the commission or Mr. Richter?
I do have a couple. I don't know that Ms. Partington is the best to answer that, but in looking at Exhibit 11, which is currently up on the screen, or I'm sorry, Exhibit 13, the campaign finance reports. As I look at them, Ms. Partington, and again, I don't know that you can answer that, they are not time-stamped as being received by the Board of Elections. Are you aware that these were filed with the Geauga County Board of Elections?
Yes, I have a receipt for the May one, signed by Nora McGinnis, director of the, she was the authorized person, she's not the director. And it's the receipt 5095, 2 o'clock, May 28th. There is another receipt for the second one, which our treasurer has, and I failed to get a copy of, but it exists.
Do you know when that report was filed?
Excuse me?
Do you know when that, the other report with the other receipt, when that was filed?
It was filed on February 27th. It was filed with the director of the Geauga Board of Elections. It filed directly to him.
Mr. Richter, I have a question as we're looking at this document, because I've not seen it before, where it says ballot issue and it's all scratched out and it says candidate. Are they permitted to make donations to candidates as opposed to a ballot issue?
This is not a reflection. This is not a reflection of a contribution to the candidate. This is an independent expenditures report. And it has been allowed to be filed by the Secretary and the Boards of Elections with that change to reflect independent activity for a candidate as corporations are allowed to participate in the electoral process as long as it is done independently. And they can file this report to reflect that activity. So it's an independent expenditures report.
And it's permitted as for a 501c4.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Ms. Partington? All right, thank you very much, Ms. Partington. You're
Okay, thank
excused
you.
with our thanks. Do you have any more witnesses to call, Susan?
Yes, I do. I'd like to call Matt Rambo.
Okay, one thing I want to remind everybody of, I know we've been going at it a lot longer than we probably thought we would have been today. There's several of us that have to leave by 3:45 to 4 o'clock. I raised this not to make sure that you cut your questions and answers short, just to let you know that we're going to have to take a break at 3:45, no later than 4 o'clock. So if we have to go another day, we'll go another day to finish up the testimony in the case. But all right, with that, go ahead. And Mr. Rambo, would you please swear the witness, Phil?
Mr. Rambo, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much. He is sworn. Ms. Scheitz, I'll go ahead and question.
Okay, got a very few questions. State your name for the record.
Matthew Rambo.
Okay, and you ran for probate court of Geauga County in the Republican primary in the spring of 2019?
Spring of 2020.
2020, I'm sorry, I keep getting that. 2020.
And we'll call it
You are-
winter.
Were you aware that Protect Geauga Parks placed ads in your favor?
Yes, I mean, I get the newspapers.
Okay. Are you aware of any other expenditures Protect Geauga Parks made on your behalf?
No, I am not.
Okay. And we'll focus on the expenditures for the ads. Did your campaign request that Protect Geauga Parks run the ads?
No, we did not.
Did that you suggest that the expenditures be made?
No,
Okay. Did you consent to the ads being run?
no, I did not.
Did your campaign coordinate in any way with Protect Geauga Parks on the ads?
No,
Okay. Didn't you consult with the campaign in any manner?
could you?
Did you consult with the campaign regarding the ads in any manner?
No.
No. Okay. Those are all my questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Crooks?
I was confused by the last question, and I think you were too, Mr. Rambo. When she said consult with the campaign, I think
I'm sorry.
I
meant
took it as her
consult.
asking.
Right.
Did you consult in any way with Protect Geauga Parks regarding any of their actions regarding the election?
No, I did not.
No more questions.
Thank you very much. Anything on redirect?
Nope. Yeah, I'm sorry for confusing that question.
No problem. Questions by Mr. Richter or by the commission?
None from me.
From the commission?
My only question is, Mr. Rambo, did you receive any political contributions from Protect Geauga Parks in your campaign account that you know of?
No.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Rambo. We appreciate it. You're excused with our thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Any further witnesses on behalf of the respondent?
I will call Mr. Duralia for just a few questions.
Very good. Has he been sworn yet?
No.
I don't believe so. Can we go ahead and swear the witness, Phil?
Mr. Duralia, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do, sir.
Thank you very much. Ms. Scheitz, I'll proceed.
Okay, Mr. Duralia, am I saying that correctly?
It's Duralia, yes.
Duralia, okay. Do you live in Geauga County?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you signed the affidavit labeled Exhibit A with the Elections Commission?
Yes, I did.
Okay, it states that everything in the affidavit is true, a matter of public knowledge or common knowledge. And did you believe that at the time you filed the complaint in March of 2020?
Yes, I did. I'm the one who helped prepare it.
Okay, do you still believe that after hearing the testimony today?
More than ever.
Okay. Your complaint was that Protect Geauga Parks is operating as an illegal PAC. Now, as you know, the definition of a PAC is two or more persons, the primary or major purpose of which is to support or oppose any candidate or issue. Although, do you feel that they were created to support any candidate or issue other than your allegation regarding Judge Grindel?
Objection, calls for a legal conclusion.
Well, he's making the complaint that they are trying to influence an election. I think he should say what election they're trying to influence.
Yeah, overrule. Go ahead and answer the question if you can.
Yes, I do. And after hearing the testimony, looking at the evidence, and based on the IRS code, that you're not, when it's a major, your contributions that were put into the campaign this year were over a third, which I would consider would be constitute the organization's primary activity. So yes, I do.
I don't believe that was proven, Mr. Dralia. Why are you saying it's over a third?
Well, you put budget was about 17,000 or less this year. You spent $6,000.
That was not put into evidence.
So just a second, don't interrupt the witness, Ms. Scheidshauer.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish your answer.
Yes, it was. It's the, I think it was exhibit 18 that showed the average, based $100 and some $1,000, and they spent 6,000 roughly in political expenditures. And you just have to looked at the ads and the dollars that were spent. So based on the budget, it's over a third.
Okay, and why are you concerned about it being over a third?
Objection, relevance.
Because,
Mr. Dorelia's opinion has nothing to do with this.
Wait a minute. No, slow down. I know it's late. I know we've gone a long time. People getting tired. We know what the process is. The attorney asked the question. It's answered by the witness. If there's an objection, I'll rule on the objection and then we'll proceed. No more talking over each other. All right, so what's the basis for your objection?
Relevance. I have no idea what Mr. Dorelia's belief have to do with whether or not this has already been through what I would equate to a probable cause hearing, and we're here for the full evidentiary hearing. Mr. Dorelia's opinion of whether or not they are a PAC or whether or not they spent a third has absolutely no bearing and does not in any way prove or disprove the allegations before this tribunal.
And what's your response to that, Ms. Scheidshauer?
Well, he's making the allegation that they spent over a third and that makes them a PAC. So I'm wondering why he's making that allegation. He seems to be confusing 501c4 regulations with the Elections Commission regulations on a PAC.
Okay, I'll overrule the objection and allow the witness to answer the question if he can. Go ahead. And
first, I'd like to say thank you, all the committee and Rector. Appreciate all your time. It's been a long day, and I appreciate all your effort you put in. So, and if I've got any latency from my satellite, I'm sorry. From if we talk over each other, I've got experience. I used to litigate or be in front of the IRS. Based on my ruling, I feel that their expenditures exceeded what a 501c4 could be allowed to spend. So I feel they're acting as a PAC. Most of their activities in 2020 and leading up to that were, I would consider, a PAC, in my personal opinion, which is why I filed the complaint.
Next question.
Yeah. Considering you considered that they are violating 501c4 law, is this the proper avenue to make that complaint?
Objection.
Okay. Sustained.
Okay. Did you listen to the Cleveland Schmooze? Did you listen to the Cleveland Schmooze?
Yes, I've been here since 10. Yes, I've been here since 10 a.m.
I mean, did you listen to it before, previous to today?
No.
You didn't, and you put in your affidavit that was related to Protect Geauga Parks being a PAC, but you never listened to it?
I read part of some of the excerpts from it, which is where I pulled my research. A friend of mine pulled some research. We went a different direction. Yes.
Where did you read an excerpt?
When I read the excerpt, would have been probably about a month or so before I filed the complaint.
I said, where did you read an excerpt? Where? I mean, I searched online. There was no printed.
Objection.
Well,
just so we're clear, this is Commissioner Norman. We can't all speak at the same time. We've got a court reporter by the name of Sandy Kinn, and she cannot get 3 people at the same time. So what we need to do is make sure we let the witness finish, and then counsel, you can proceed with your question, but we can't talk over each other like this.
Okay, I apologize. My question is, where did you read an excerpt? What was the origination of the excerpt?
Objection.
Basis for the objection.
Basis for the objection is relevance. The entire audio file is before this committee. They've heard it played today. The 640 portion in the affidavit identified by Mr. Derelia is where we started, and that is where the statement was we were started in response to a change in judge.
I'm going to overrule your objection, Mr. Crooks, and allow the witness to answer the question if he can.
Yes, I believe it's, I'm going to go back. I researched it with a friend of mine who pulled up evidence. He printed it off. I believe it came from Bing or Google, or I'm sorry, maybe DuckDuckGo, the article or the excerpt from that. So I will stand on that, my word on that.
Okay. But you did not listen to the entire, have never listened to the entire podcast?
As I said, I read the article that my friend printed off from that.
So your answer is no. Is that correct?
I did not listen to it. I read the article.
Please listen to the question, answer the question that's posed so that we can move on. All right?
Yes.
Let's go ahead. Next question.
Yeah. In your complaint, you do state that respondent solicits donations on its website.
Yes.
Do you know what they solicit donations for?
They solicit, if you look at their website, which I've been to multiple times, they solicit, they have a button there to solicit for donations. And what their specific purposes could be, since they're raising money, in my opinion, for political activities, could be various and sundry.
Okay, so you do not see anything there that they solicit donations specifically for political activities?
No, it's an open solicitation for donations.
Okay, you do make the allegation that members were visiting homes throughout Geauga County openly campaigning for Matt Rambo. Can you tell me a little about that? Why you make that allegation?
Because of some of my friends in the area and those that I've been in the politics. I've been on Central Committee for about 10 years on and off. So they've had people from the committees or from the group going around soliciting for Matt Rambo.
Did they specifically say they were soliciting from Protect Geauga Parks?
Yes, they had.
Okay. I really have no other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Crooks, questions, Mr. Derelia?
No, sir.
Okay. Questions from the commission or from Mr. Richter?
I'll be brief. Mr. Derelia, you just said that you had information that the person solicited or went around the area to go door to door on behalf of Mr. Rambo, and you said they did it on behalf of Project or Protect Geauga Parks. How did you come to that knowledge?
A friend of mine, as I mentioned, and I were working on some. We were both upset with the way the park was, Protect Geauga Parks was approaching this election. We felt they were overstepped their bounds, and he works, my friend, I'm going to name him Jim McNeil, brought this to my attention. James, I believe, R. McNeil.
So it was just your conversation with him and not with anybody else?
Yes, sir.
And did they come to your house?
I believe
What was that?
You need to repeat
response?
that. I apologize.
I could not hear the question. Please, would you mind repeating it, sir?
Yeah, I was just going to say, did they come to your house and make a presentation to you on behalf of Mr. Rambo?
No, I'm in a gated property. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Any other follow-up questions of Mr. Derelia, the complainant? All right, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your time, your attention today. Next witness, ma'am.
Thank you.
I just wanted to call Barb Partington back very briefly to refute something that Mr. Duralia said. I have one question for you, Ms. Partington. Did any of your members go door to door to campaign on behalf of Protect Yaga Parks for Matt Rambo?
No, they did not.
Okay, no further questions.
Follow-up questions?
Thank you. Ms. Partington,
Yes,
you don't know with 100% certainty whether or not individual members of your organization have been out on behalf of Matt Rambo, do you?
we have 13 members in our organization. We have what anybody does in their private time certainly would be their own business. So that I can't speak for our supporters, but for our 13 members, we discussed that we would not be participating other than making an endorsement. And I trust my 13 members to have followed that.
So that's what you're basing your answer on, is that we discussed it and we said we weren't going to do it.
Yes, and we are of our word. And like I said, supporters out there in the community who may know about Protect Yaga Parks, that would certainly be on their own volition. Anybody outside of the can make their own decision on participating in an election. But Protect Yaga Parks itself did not, certainly did not go door to door and certainly did not do anything other than support the endorsement.
No more questions.
All right, thank you very much. And again, follow-up questions by Mr. Richter of the board.
Not for me, thank you.
All right, and okay. Do you have any other witnesses to call on behalf of the
Nope.
respondent, ma'am?
I'd like to move my exhibits into the record.
Okay, and which exhibits? Would you please identify them for the record?
I don't believe I used them all, 1 through 14, except for give me one moment. I have to go through them all. Except for Exhibit 7, which I did not use.
Okay. Mr. Crooks, any objection?
I don't recall there being any testimony regarding Exhibit 10. She talked about, in kind of a run-on from a previous question, when asked about the watchdog. And the watchdog
That's on the Ladue drilling rights, which she talked about. That's
Testimony
fine.
has
We
to
can
be
exclude 10. If you'd like to, we can exclude 10.
Okay. So you're objecting to the admission of 10 then, Mr. Crooks?
Yes, sir.
I'm withdrawing 10. I'm
All
not.
right.
Yeah,
That's fine. I just want to make the record on it. So Exhibit 10 has been withdrawn. All right, so it's 1 through 14, except for 7 and 10. Is that what you're?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Exhibits 1 through 14, with the exceptions of 7 and 10, will be admitted into evidence without objection. All right. Do you have anything on rebuttal, Mr. Crooks?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay, very good. All right. So any questions at this point in time from any members of the commission? If not, we'll go ahead and give each an opportunity to make a brief closing statement to sum up their testimony.
Can I make a suggestion, Chair? This is Commissioner Norman. I know
Yeah.
we have a commissioner who's running up against a deadline for being here. I suspect if we go through closing, we may not have the opportunity to actually reach a decision today.
Oh, we will not, I'm sure.
It might make sense to say, let's hold on closing arguments. Let's come back, maybe open up our next hearing with closing arguments and then a decision at our next meeting.
Either that, or what we could do is we could even go so far, Mr. Norman, to ask that they submit their closing arguments in writing. What do you think about that?
I'm fine with that.
Does anybody object to having both parties submit their closing arguments or summary statements, if you will, in writing?
I'd be happy to do
My
that.
only question, sir, is how soon do you want them? I have 3 jury trials in the next month and a half, including one in Tucson, Arizona on a federal case. So I'm a little tight.
Okay, no, I thank you for bringing that up. Phil?
Excuse me.
Is this something that we would fit onto the calendar on the 22nd of April?
We certainly could, yeah. April 22nd is available.
Okay.
Let me throw out a question. Would council be willing to waive closing and have us do our deliberations at the next hearing when we have our full commission here. We've been here, we've heard, I don't know, 3.5 hours of testimony.
Mr. Kirks, what do you think about that?
I would prefer to close. I can get something in writing, and it's if we're talking about the next 2 weeks, that's fine. If we're talking about the next month, April's my bad month. So,
well, we're April right now. Our next hearing is the 22nd. Would it help you if we put off closing argument until our next meeting, which would be in May?
Sorry, my boy. I was looking at my calendar. I think my mind exploded. April 24th is when I have a settlement conference, and then April 23rd, my jury trials start. So I prefer to have it in before April 23rd, if that's okay, and if that meets everyone else's deadline.
I think our next is the 22nd, is it not?
Yes,
That's
it
correct.
is.
It is.
So let's,
I
can you
could
do the
have a
20th?
closing argument in by then, absolutely.
Okay.
Can we
Yeah, I
use-
mean, we essentially know the issues. It's a matter
Sure.
of just,
Yeah, exactly.
closing and, if you were somewhat prepared to make this, the oral presentation at this point, written presentation shouldn't take that long, but I appreciate your conflict, Mr. Crooks. But yeah, April 22nd is the next meeting of the commission. Concluding this at that point, is certainly doable, yes.
Well, let's do this if it's acceptable to both council. Can we have everything submitted by the 20th, the 19th or the 20th? Let's shoot for the 19th, okay? Does that present a problem? I know it's going to be tight, but yeah, that will give us then a couple, 2 or 3 days to look at it before we actually make a decision. So unless there's, I'm seeing people nodding in agreement. So assuming for both council that you could have it by the 19th of April, just a closing statement that kind of summarizes everything.
Just so we have it
Absolutely.
clear in the record, can we have council acknowledge that? Because again,
Yep.
we're looking at
Yes, sir.
assume, see you nodding your heads, but just acknowledge
Yes,
verbally.
it's fine with Protect Geauga Parks.
Thank
For
you.
the night, for the
On
19th.
behalf of Mr. Dorelli, absolutely for the 19th.
Thank you very much.
Ms.
Can
Kenny,
I would just add, email those to me, and then I will email them to commission members on that date when I get them. Or whenever you send it to me. If you're able to send it to me by the end of next week, that's fine.
Commissioner
Christ.
Cunningham.
Yeah, my only question is, are they doing simultaneous filings, and do we have any
Yes.
page limitations or other limitations on the arguments?
What are the rules on page limitations on response, Phil?
That we don't really have any per se, so, whatever you would, we have gone from closing arguments being 5 minutes to 2 minutes to, to half an hour. I don't know that we've ever gone that long, except maybe when Bill was around. But,
Why don't we use the standard?
I think a
federal court
2-page
here?
limit certainly wouldn't be out of the ordinary.
Can you
I'll
folks,
throw that number out there.
We'll
well,
set a 10-page limit.
how about a
2.
10-page limit?
That's, 2.
10.
There's no way.
No.
No,
I'm merely throwing out a number.
I know, the
Yeah.
number I'm using is what we use in federal court here in Columbus, okay? So you have up to 10 pages. I mean, we can do less than that, but it would seem to me that, when we do motions and things of that nature, we do sentencing memorandums, we have a 10-page limit. I was thinking that might be fair. You don't have to use all 10 pages of it. All right, whatever it takes to summarize.
Yeah. Agreed.
Having been a trial lawyer for a few years, 2 pages isn't going to get the summation that they want. So I was thinking 5 to 10, but the difference between reading 5 pages and 10 for us is going to be a matter of 10 or 15 minutes. So I think we're okay.
And I'm not sure where you're going to get 10 pages either. We don't have to have 10 pages, but that gives you an outside maximum. So,
And
all right.
I put on the record, I don't think we need to attach exhibits and do all that. Let's just
I
get your argument.
We have them.
Yep. All right.
They're
So,
all they're
so
already
what,
before you.
what we've agreed to, as I understand it, and we just want to make sure the record's clear, is that by April the 19th, both council have agreed that they will submit in writing to the commission, no more than 10 pages, a summary of the evidence as they see it from their perspective. All right. The evidence will be closed as when we conclude the hearing today, the evidentiary portion of this case is going to be closed. We'll take a view of that, and then we'll go ahead and deliberate and make a decision at our meeting on the 22nd.
And
Okay.
Phil, you'll add this to the agenda on our next meeting, correct?
Correct.
All right.
And notice will go, at this point, Ms. Scheitzow, Mr. Crook, what I'd probably do is include just you two on the notice that I'll send concerning the date. And then whoever, you can send it to Ms. Duralia, Mr. Duralia, whoever else you wish to attend, and have other persons attend. But I'm probably just going to include you two on my notice when I send out the notice to commission members of the meeting date.
Understood.
Mr. Richter, I suggest and certainly defer again to my fellow commissioners that be first on the agenda before we start considering anything else, because, it's been a long day and the parties have been
Oh, no
here
doubt.
and waited to the end. So let's make this the first thing after the approval of the minutes before we get into other items on the agenda.
And that was my
Potentially even
recommendation.
put it before the minutes if you want to do that.
That was my recommendation when I first suggested this.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
Absolutely.
Ms. Scheitzow, I
heard
want
that.
you to know that's the longest 45
Thank
minutes.
you, and thank you for spending a long time today and for your service. I
We're
appreciate it.
glad to do it. Well, our thanks to both counsel. A very
Thank
well
you very
argued
much,
case. We very much appreciate it, and we'll look forward to your written comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Richter, do we have anything else? Any other business to come before us today?
I have one more thing, going back to Watson Lenahan. Remember how the request was made for clarifying the record as it related to Ms. Lenahan?
Right.
Ms. Lenahan, a complaint was filed against her, case number 2014 E as in Edward 019. Was filed with the commission on what's it say, Wednesday, April 30 of 2014, and on August 28th of 2014, in that case that involved whether there were false statements in campaign materials, the commission found that there was no violation of the statute by Ms. Lenahan in that case. And so we have now clarified that and put on the record in opposition, I guess you would say, to what Mr. Roberts presented to the commission. There was no violation found in that case.
Okay, thank you very much for following up on that.
Do we ask Mr. Kreitz to make a ruling on the motion to strike at this stage? Having not seen it before.
Now,
I don't know how you strike it. I mean, you might put clarifying information in, but how do you strike testimony that was made?
Unless they want to go ahead and get a transcript and try to do something with down the road. It just seems to me it's there and it's.
Can we just go ahead and send council an email indicating what you found and just leave it at that and see what
While we were going through here, I got an email that I saw from Ms. Lenahan, and I responded to that email and said I was going to make the comment that I just made at the conclusion of this meeting. So Ms. Lenahan is aware that I was going to make and now made this clarification.
Then I can consider the issue done, finished, kaput, over with, unless it's raised again by council.
And I'll include that in the minutes as well. So
not the kaput part, okay? But
It's on the record.
yeah, I thank you very much, Natasha. All right, is there anything else to come before the commission?
No, I've got nothing else. No, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Phil and I are going to be speaking on behalf of the Ohio Elections Commission on Saturday morning from 10:30 till 11 o'clock. We've been invited by the Congressman Pat T. Berry Leadership Institute to present on behalf of the Elections Commission for 30 minutes. Just wanted you to be aware of it. And is it May the 17th for the ethics filings?
For the ethics filings, got to be in by then, correct? Yeah, I won't ask for overtime, by the way, just making clear, just to let you know.
You're not entitled, you're exempt.
Oh, yeah. Shut up, Scott.
That's right. We're on the record, otherwise I'd have a real response for you, Mr. All right, anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
we have a second. All right,
Second.
in favor, signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you all.
See
Thank
y'all.
you
Mine
very,
was, I
very
wasn't a vote.
much.
Mine was waving.
Yep.
Be safe, everybody.
Good night.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody. Good to see you. Nice job today, everybody.
Yeah, well.
Charlita. Natasha. At least that's who I thought I heard. That's who I have reflected. Every time every time Kreitz, somehow he stays in the meeting. I just removed him.